Hey, and welcome back to another video. So in this video, we'll be comparing the latest and greatest from Apple, the iPhone 12 Pro Max, to Apple's 2010 flagship, the iPhone 4. I thought I'd compare the 12 Pro Max to the 4 as it represents the best versions of iPhones for the year in question, and also back in 2010, the only choice we had was storage options, unlike the display and feature choices that we have today. I will be comparing the two phones based on each major aspect and showing you how far we've come in the last 10 years. And if you want to see a full 10-year anniversary review on the iPhone 4 alone, I've done a separate video on it which you can find up in the card above and down in the description below. I firstly would like to wish all my viewers a Happy New Year 2021 and thank you for a great 2020 with helping my channel grow and helping me make better content. 2021 is going to be a great year and I can't wait to create more videos for you guys throughout the entire year. But before jumping right in, don't forget to hit that like button and check out my channel, and if you like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button as it helps me out a lot. Also hit that bell notification button to get notified whenever I upload a new video. I'm on Instagram, Discord and Twitter, and you can follow me on those using the links down in the description below. So firstly, let's rewind 10 years back. I still remember sitting there watching the iPhone 4 announcement event on June 7th, 2010. Most of us back then already knew what the phone would look like because if you do remember, there was a leaked prototype of the iPhone 4 out in the public and it caused a major scene leading up to the official announcement. Steve Jobs even commented on it saying,
8 new features of the iPhone 4. The first one, an all-new design. Now, stop me if you've already seen this. Believe me, you ain't seen it. You've got to see this thing in person. It is one of the most beautiful designs you've ever seen.
The iPhone 4 was truly the first of its kind. The first ever phone to widely use metal and glass in its design, it was truly a marvel of its time. A stainless steel band which also doubled as an antenna, a full glass front and back, sharp flat edges, and overall easily the best built phone back then. Its design aesthetic still being seen today in varying degrees in modern smartphones as well. However, as time went on, the iPhone lineup moved away from this sharp-edged square design with 2014's iPhone 6, which was bigger and had rounded edges. And in 2020, we saw the return of the older boxy design with the iPhone 12 lineup. The iPhone 12 does closely resemble the iPhone 5 more than it does resemble the iPhone 4, but the same form factor carries on true. Sharp edges, front and glass back, and a stainless steel frame. But unlike the iPhone 4, the iPhone 12 packs all the latest features that 2020 has to offer, such as the all-new super tough ceramic shield front glass, which can easily take the most abuse of any flagship smartphone tested, small bezels, a notch to hold the Face ID sensor and camera, the lack of a physical home button, a different power button placement, more color options, and many more. The two phones are similar to a certain degree, but the iPhone 12 has that great old boxy design mixed in with all the new modern features. Displays have changed a whole lot since the days of the iPhone 4 as well. The iPhone 4 with its miniature 3.5-inch display was considered standard at the time. However, in more recent times, the demand for larger displays and display size options has grown, and the iPhone 12 now comes with 4 different display size options, the 12 Pro Max being a 6.7-inch display. Looking closer at display technology, we can see that it has changed a lot as well. Sporting a 3.5-inch IPS LCD capacitive touchscreen with a resolution of 640 by 960 pixels, the iPhone 4 was the first phone to cross the 300 ppi mark at 330 pixels per inch. This was known as the sweet spot when it comes to pixel density, as some argue that the human eye could not differentiate the quality of a display with a higher pixel density, but this is still up for debate. Back then, this new technology was called the Retina display, and fast forward 10 years, Apple is still using this terminology with the iPhone 12, as the iPhone 12 display is called the Super Retina XDR display. At present, the iPhone 12 Pro Max's display is a completely different beast on its own. A Super Retina XDR OLED display with HDR at 6.7 inches with a resolution of 1248 by 2778 pixels and a pixel density of around 458 pixels per inch. OLED technology has improved over the last 10 years and all its kinks have been ironed out. Better performance in varying lighting conditions, better colors, improved resistance to image burn, and better power efficiency. OLEDs are here to stay and will probably replace the LCD entirely in the near future. The iPhone SE 2 will most probably be the last iPhone to use an LCD display. So, apart from the massive bezel-less display and long list of new technologies built in, it's great to put into perspective and take in how far we've come in terms of displays on iPhones in the last 10 years. Next up, let's discuss the operating systems. The iPhone 4 shipped with iOS 4, which was Apple's latest and greatest as of 2010, and the first to be called iOS instead of iPhone OS. New features included home screen folders, custom wallpapers from the gallery, multitasking, Game Center, and many more. The iPhone 4 was the first iPhone to ever feature FaceTime as well, since it's the first iPhone with a forward-facing camera. iOS 4, atop the powerful new hardware on the iPhone 4, made it the ultimate mobile gaming and social media machine of its day. Game Center was promoted heavily and many apps were enhanced to make use of the new Retina display. The iPhone 4 was finally updated to iOS 7 as seen here. It still runs okay on this OS and is somewhat usable for basic calling and texting. Fast forward 10 years into the future and the iPhone 12 shipped with iOS 14. Widgets, an app library, a hugely improved Siri, and impressive new privacy features are some of the new things that iOS 14 has to offer. It still retains that flat, shadowless design that was introduced with iOS 7. The overall functionality of iOS has drastically improved over the years since the iPhone 4 and iOS 4, making it a more versatile and powerful platform for creators and daily users alike. However, it still retains Apple's core construct, which is great software running over great hardware, which are both created to work together flawlessly, aka vertical integration. The iPhone 4 was no way in any sense the most powerful phone on paper of its time. However, it always got the job done faster and more efficiently than its counterparts. The same carries through to the iPhone 12. The iPhone 12's A14 Bionic AI-driven processor is clearly not the most powerful processor on the mobile phone market when it comes to specs, but easily outperforms the competition in almost every comparative task. This on its own shows that Apple's design philosophy has carried on over the years and stayed true to each progressing year's relative technological advances. The iPhone 4 has a single-core Apple A4 processor, which was Apple's first ever in-house designed processor, as previous iPhone models used Samsung-designed processors instead. The single-core Apple A4 is clocked in at 1 GHz but is also underclocked to 800 MHz inside the iPhone 4. It is also built on a 45nm process. Compared to the iPhone 12's A14 Bionic, which is a hexa-core processor with varying core clocks, where 2 cores are clocked in at 3.1 GHz and the other 4 cores are clocked in at 1.8 GHz. The A14 is built on a 5nm process, which is 40 nanometers down in 10 years. The iPhone 12 had 6 gigs of RAM, while the iPhone 4 has a mere 512 megabytes. Storage options back in 2010 were limited to 8, 16 and 32 gigs, while larger file sizes in modern times have the iPhone 12 available at 128, 256 and 512 gigs. Under the hood, specs have only gone up to bigger numbers, but processor technology has always become smaller and more power efficient as time has gone by. And we will soon move on to the picometer scale, which I'm sure will open the doors to new possibilities. Looking at the back of the iPhone 12, and you're greeted by 3 cameras on the Pro models and 2 cameras on the Standard and Mini. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has a standard wide 12 megapixel f1.6 aperture shooter, a 12 megapixel ultra-wide with an f2.4 aperture, and finally a telephoto zoom camera, also 12 megapixel with an f2.2 aperture. The cameras are supported by a LiDAR or light radar scanner that supports them with depth and detail and has a wide variety of other applications as well. These cameras are capable of shooting amazing images and shooting videos at 4K and of course in slow motion as well. The iPhone 12 also is the first phone ever to feature Dolby's Vision HDR feature. A more detailed set of pictures and video samples from the iPhone 12 Pro Max can be found on my camera samples video and full review video, which you can find in the cards above and down in the description below. Now here are some camera comparison samples between the iPhone 4 and iPhone 12 Pro Max. Just to note that the iPhone 4's images will always be on the left and the Pro Max's images will always be on the right. The front cameras have changed over the years as well, where the iPhone 4 was the first ever iPhone with a front-facing camera, and here in 2020 the iPhone 12 takes selfies and video calling to a whole new level. The iPhone 12 has a 12 megapixel f2.2 front shooter and can also record in 4K and slow motion as well. It also has a biometric sensor that doubles as a depth sensor for portrait mode as well. I'll let the camera samples speak for themselves as you'll see here. So now for some additional hardware and features as well. In recent times there have been rumors about the iPhone 12 lineup being the last to have a physical charging port and that the iPhone 13 lineup will be entirely wireless. The iPhone 4 has Apple's old 30-pin connector that was replaced with the slimmer Lightning port back in 2012. Water resistance has become a pivotal part of any modern smartphone, and the iPhone 12 is no exception, with an IP68 water and dust resistance rating for up to 6 meters for 30 minutes. Back in 2010, the iPhone 4 had none of this and was to be kept away from moisture at all times. And here are demos of both the speakers at max volume. Now let's jump into discussing audio quality. For this test, I used the Q20s via Bluetooth with an iPhone 12 Pro Max, as well as plugged in with an iPod Classic 5.5 Gen, which has an enhanced audio processor and is considered to be one of the best portable devices for music ever. I also tried it with an iPod Nano 5th Gen for neutral grounds. Various genres of music. A perfect seal for cold temperatures and keep your ears warm. Now let's jump into discussing audio quality. For this test, I used the Q20s via Bluetooth with an iPhone 12 Pro Max, as well as plugged in with an iPod Classic 5.5 Gen, which has an enhanced audio processor and is considered to be one of the best portable devices for music ever. I also tried it with an iPod Nano 5th Gen for neutral grounds. Security on the iPhone 4 was either passcode or password and had no biometric security features at all. The iPhone 12 has the above two plus an extremely secure face scanner called Face ID that is faster and more convenient than typing out a passcode. In terms of power supply, the iPhone 4 had a 1420 mAh battery with slow charging speeds and had an average battery life from about a full day or less depending on use. The iPhone 12 Pro Max has a 3687 mAh battery with fast charging at 20 watts, as well as QI certified wireless fast charging at 15 watts. It has a battery life of about 1.5 to 2 days depending on use. 10 years apart, two completely different worlds with a touch of similarity when looked at closely. A sentence that sums up the two phones really well. We've come a long way since the days of the iPhone 4 in the last 10 years in terms of size, display technology, operating systems, camera technology, battery life and charging options, and many more. But we have gone back to a few old design choices that I honestly feel are better looking and more stylish than the rounded design. I wonder what other design choices Apple will come up with in the near future. So finally, that's it for this video and I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit that like button and check out my channel, and if you like what you see, please consider hitting that subscribe button, thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video.